Hello, I'm Malcolm Houslett.
And I'm Janice Baker. How would you like to have a medication pump connected to your body to keep you alive?
Oh, not much. And who is Troppo Bob? That and more on this week's episode of Our Time. Hello, Mrs. B.B. Baker.
You haven't called me that for a while.
No, I haven't. I don't usually call her that at all.
No.
Janice, about 10 or 15 years ago or something, I made a television series called Mighty Good Kids, and we had some fantastic young performers on the program, and we also looked for young people who had something special about them, and we did a whole segment about our very first guest today, Daniel McCauley.
Hello, Daniel.
Hi, how's it going?
And you've grown up.
Yes, definitely.
Why, how long ago was this?
About 10, 15 years. We were just trying to work out how long ago it was.
Yeah, I think it was about 15 when we...
Now, the amazing thing about Daniel is that you have cystic fibrosis, which most people have probably heard about but know very little about CF is. Could you just explain a bit?
So CF is a genetic condition. I was born with it. And basically, thick mucus grows in my lungs, which leaves me prone to respiratory infections. It also affects other organs in my body, including my digestive system.
And the amazing thing is that a lot of people really can't do a whole lot in life because of that. But you've achieved an enormous amount. What are you doing now?
I've just finished last year my teaching degree, and I'm working full-time as a preschool teacher.
Well done.
Thank you.
Oh.
And you're a boy doing that, which is even better.
There's not many of us in the field.
No, and that's a shame. Have you got a comment on that at all?
More guys in early childhood, I think.
Is that because you like kids or because you had a good childhood and you want to sort of relive it? Or
I've been really lucky. I've always known that I've wanted to be a teacher since I was about 10 years old. And when I was about 21, I actually fell into special education. And so I've been working in special ed for about 9 years now, originally as a teacher's aide and now as a teacher. And I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I love it.
Well, what we'd like to do is just show you some of the original interviews or the segment that we produced with you, and we'll just sort of explain what's happening here.
The next thing I do, and I have to do it every day, no matter where I am, is use the nebulizer, which turns the drug pulmazine into a mist that I inhale, which breaks up the mucus in my lungs. This usually takes an average of 7 minutes every morning. While I'm doing that, Mum gets the rest of my drugs ready. Fortunately, Mum and Dad were taught how to prepare and administer my drugs a few years ago, so I can do this at home rather than spend 2 to 3 weeks in hospital when I need a tune-up. And I need a tune-up about every 7 weeks. Everyone who has cystic fibrosis needs different types of antibiotics, depending on what's going on in their lungs at the time. The 2 antibiotics I had this morning are meropenem and colimicin. You might wonder where the antibiotic is going. Well, it's going into a microport, which is implanted into my chest, so the antibiotic goes straight into my bloodstream. This is called an IV treatment, but we call it a tune-up. Cystic fibrosis, or CF, can also affect the pancreas, liver, and digestive system. In my case, all of these. So I need to give myself a shot of insulin twice a day. I do this with my insulin pen. It doesn't really hurt that much. It just stings a bit.
If you have that mucus build-up through the night, and that's one of the first things...
Nothing wrong with him.
No, do you sleep well?
It comes and goes. You know, sometimes if I'm coughing a lot at night, I can wake myself up with coughing, and then it can be hard to get back to sleep.
And then do you take something, or no, you have to wait until the morning to do that?
Generally, it's just a matter of trying to get back to sleep because I need my sleep as well.
Of course, yeah.
But oxygen levels in everyone drop when they sleep, and because I already have lower oxygen levels, sometimes you do wake up not as refreshed as I would like after.
Gee, that's an interesting side you don't really think of because you need the oxygen at night, so you can be refreshed in the morning. Right. So Daniel, you're in a lucky position, I suppose, if that's the right thing to say, because you're still with us. I am.
I'm very fortunate. You know, with my generation being the age I am, unfortunately a lot of the children that I did grow up with having CF have passed away. And there's also still quite a lot of us that are still going strong as well. But it is a condition that, you know, isn't well known, but does actually claim quite a few lives.
Yes, and we were hoping to have another girl, a younger girl, on the program who also has CF, and her mum was explaining to me that we couldn't do that because you could infect her with some really horrible bug.
That's right.
Not because you're a nasty, horrible bug.
People with CF can actually make each other sick, so they're more prone to bugs that we can pass on to one another. So
but
my
when
generation,
you were young, that wasn't...
The research wasn't there as much, so they didn't really worry about that. You know, we used to have 4 of us in one bay in the hospital, whereas now they're quite strict on cross-contamination policies, and the children actually don't mingle as much as we did when we were younger.
Well, that's a shame. I mean, you're obviously, you're still here, so it doesn't make sense, really.
Yeah, I think that's for the doctors, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true. Now, we've got a little clip here of the medication that Daniel used to take every day, and we'll just let the host of the program's name was Adam. We'll just let Adam ask you the question.
Well, a thick and sticky mucus builds up inside my lungs, blocking up the airways, making it easy for germs and bacteria to infect. The alveoles, which look like the tops of trees, can be blocked with mucus really easily, and the bronchial tubes, which look like tree trunks, get blocked too. That's why I need the physio and the nebulizer, but I'm kind of used to it by now.
You take a lot of pills, don't you? How many do you take?
About 40?
That's a lot of pills. What are they?
Well, at breakfast I have 10 Creon, my salt tablet, my Acimax, 2 Vita Abdex, my 3 Ursos, and my antibiotic. Then at lunchtime I have another 10 Creon, and at tea have another 10 Creon, and I also have 3 more Ursos, and the Acimax, and an antibiotic.
Wow.
So that's sort of... Do you rattle? I know.
It feels like it.
Corny old question, isn't it? I take so many pills, I rattle. But that's extraordinary.
Yeah, and I'd still be on very similar numbers. Some of the actual drugs may have changed, but yeah, very similar numbers to what I was on then.
Do you think that'll change in the future? I know with medicine things are changing all the time.
Definitely.
So
with progress,
yeah.
I think, when I was probably about 5 or 6, I was on a lot more meds than I was back then.
Yeah.
You know? A lot of the tablets that used to have to be individual tablets are being able to merge or make them stronger.
Right.
So, the numbers certainly have gone down over the years.
Have you been told that will change again?
Fingers crossed, yeah. I think.
Yeah.
So the prognosis is if it gets worse and you start losing the ability to breathe, is it 50% lower than 50%, 30%? So
my lung function sits at around 50% normally when I'm healthy, sometimes a little bit higher. And basically when quality of life starts to decline due to not being able to keep up, struggling with breathing, that's when I'll need to start having conversations with the doctors about the possibility of a lung transplant.
That's if one's available and you match somebody.
Exactly. So it is, a bit of a tough gig sometimes, when we're waiting and stuff, but I'm quite fortunate I'm not in that position yet.
Well, we've got another clip just to prove that you lived as normal a life as was humanly possible, because Daniel used to go to our talent school. That's how we knew Daniel in the first place. And this is just a little clip of, first of all, when he was in hospital, as you explained, Mum would come in and bring in the intravenous drugs. Let's have a look at that.
And when I have my IV treatment, my mum comes there and does it for me, so that way I don't miss out on any classes.
I still teach a bit of dance.
And you've gone back to doing some classical stuff just for your body.
Exactly. I miss the discipline of the ballet, so I've gone back into ballet this year. And I think from just the whole posture of ballet, keeping lungs open and everything, I think it can't help. Can't not help.
Doing it any harm.
That's a really good point, though, Daniel. That's a really good point, because doing something that's a discipline, and you've always been very disciplined, but I've always been so impressed with you just because you've just got out and done whatever. You could very easily go, oh, no, I'm too sick.
Yeah.
But you never did. I never ever saw you, as you would explain, sort of sick.
No, yeah, I think that's where I was very lucky that I had a lot of support from my family, both my parents and my extended family, teachers, whether it be at my school, at Mighty Good. Basically, I was very fortunate to be surrounded by some really amazing people, friends as well. So,
but it was also your positivity. And it wasn't hard to treat you like everybody else. In fact, we did. We forgot. What's he got in his jacket there?
Yeah.
What's going on?
He's stuck up his jumper.
So your plans for the rest of your life?
So I said just finished my teaching degree, so I'd like to keep working in special education and I'm really happy at the site I'm at now. I've been there for nearly 7 years.
But you're teaching kids with special needs as well?
Yeah. So I work with children who have complex communication needs. So that's a range of reasons why.
You make us feel inadequate. Truly. I'm so impressed with this boy, I've got to say. Just an amazing young man, and just really to say to people, you know, you can... Yeah, you don't have to listen to this bit. But, you know, just to say to people, sometimes we get an ache or a pain and we think the world's coming to an end. But someone like Daniel is just so inspiring for all of us, really.
Power of positive thinking too, I think.
But also the fact that you can hand over this positivity to other people with the same issue.
Yeah, because I think, you know, it might be easy sometimes to sort of fall into a bit of a doom and gloom, but I think every person, whether they have CF or not, really just needs to live life to the fullest, and that's just something that I've always been brought up believing, and I really do believe it. I think you need to just live while you can, you know. And
your mum still doesn't give you a thumping like you told the teacher at school, and she's a bit worried that someone, the police may come and take her away.
Abuse, child abuse.
I used to call my physio thumping, and as a little kid that didn't quite go down so well once when I said that at work about mum giving me a thumping.
Daniel, stay with us and we'll see you again at the end of the show, and we'll be back in a moment to meet Troppo Bob.
And we're back.
We are. And we're back with
something very special.
Well, we are, because I said Troppo Bob, but it's Mr. and Mrs. Troppo Bob, if you will. It's Bob and Chris.
Yes.
Welcome to
Troppo.
our time.
No, he said no, Troppo.
Oh, no, Troppo.
Not Bob, Troppo. It's
Golden
Troppo.
Sunset, be quiet.
It's not a real name.
No.
Troppo is my name, and I just added Bob to the end because it's a
good
funny
idea.
sort of name.
Yeah.
It rolls. It's
It works.
a surfy name.
It is. It is.
Now, the reason that you're on the program is I actually met you just recently at the Fringe here in Adelaide.
Yes.
And I said we must have you on the program so the rest of Australia who have maybe not seen you.
Yet.
And that's really difficult to understand because you're worse than the Leyland brothers. You've been everywhere.
We have been. We have been. We'll be up in Broken Hill next week and Nyngan back in New South Wales. And
Okay.
Yeah. So we should explain what you are.
Yes, an
enigma.
Enigmatic.
Oh, I like that.
Troppo Bob is a comedy magician. So when I do something that's funny, it's probably not magic, and if it's not funny, it's usually magic.
Yes, right. Would you agree with that, Chris? Do you like this around the house?
He's Troppo, yes. He doesn't very much go out of character. And we had a young Italian visitor once who saw Troppo Magic written on our van, our work van.
Yes.
And he said, Troppo, oh, it's lovely, reminds me of home. And we said, what does Troppo mean in Italian? He said, too much. That's right. That's it.
Because it's an Australian word that we mean,
Yes.
you know, Don Troppo.
Yes.
But it's actually an Italian word, and he was so excited. Roberto D'Angelo from Verona.
Oh, brilliant.
And he's my friend on Facebook.
Brilliant.
Yes.
So the lovely thing about both of you, though, is as husband and wife, you can buzz around together all over the place. You manage the business side of where it's going.
Yes, I do.
Oh, yes.
But you have things in your own right that's really important.
I do. When I'm at home, when we're back at home, I'm a celebrant, a wedding and funeral celebrant. And
Celibate?
No, I'm not celibate.
Brunt.
Got
to get the brunt right.
Brent. And I really enjoy celebrating all those milestones in people's lives.
Yes, exactly. And obviously you enjoy buzzing around Australia with himself.
Yes, and when we're not buzzing around Australia, we're at home on the mid-north coast of New South Wales, a beautiful spot called Crescent Head.
At Crescent Head. Lovely place to go surfing and have a holiday.
And you have a holiday there most of the year.
When we finish doing this, we go back there.
Yeah.
And is it sort of like a carny type lifestyle that you lead, do you think? Because you take her home with you.
Well,
You do take it home with us,
does,
but the
yeah.
carnival people don't mix with us at all much because
No, we love them.
We love them.
Yeah.
But they're interesting people.
Yeah.
But we
But you
we
do a
get
lot of
paid-
the shows, don't you?
yeah. So we do interact with those
You
people
would,
with the
yes.
rides and everything.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
They're great, yeah.
Yeah, the agricultural societies contract us to perform at the shows and other festivals. And when I have those gigs booked, I plot out a tour route and we fill it in with aged care for seniors, shows, Laughter from a Magic Box, which is
Yeah.
great.
Lovely age. I have to tell people to be careful with the clapping because they could hurt themselves. Today, they just went wild.
They did.
Where were we at today? The
Fullerton-
Fullerton Lutheran Aged Care. They were great. Yeah, clapping away. Oh, they also do the blank look, you know. But a lot of people do that. It's a good
At your
response.
act, yes.
Oh, yes.
Wondering when the punchlines are coming. Speaking of punchlines, I know you've got a little bag of bits and pieces down there of magic tricks. So you could walk into anywhere with a bag that size and do an hour.
Yeah.
And it's great. I've seen him.
Yes.
He's very funny.
Is he?
I'm still waiting to get the punchline, but the rest of it was funny.
So
very quick.
I put a whole lot of things in. I have little things like this. Now, this is called a hanky.
Yes.
Now, when you see a magician doing work, they do hankies and ropes and cards and stuff like that. But what makes mine work, and don't let anybody else know this, I have magic breath. I call it halitosis. And so if I blow on this hanky like that, it just turns into a magic wand.
Oh, so easy to pick your nose with, really.
Yes, really.
Big.
Stop.
I'll just
Wow. Yes, now what?
But that's what's lovely about what you're doing magically. It's not complicated. It's simple, really amusing, simple stuff, very engaging with the audience.
Because you saw some of that yesterday. Yes,
I saw it all.
Yes, yeah.
But it's just a lovely warmth that you had, and because it was only a small audience you were working to yesterday in the last show that you did, 3 in a day. The man really likes to work. But you worked the crowd so well, and everyone was so engaged with what you were doing, and it really didn't matter. This is the truth. It didn't really matter whether he was doing magic or not. It was just his lovely delivery and comedy styling that
Isn't that lovely?
got everybody going. It was really
Very
nice.
encouraging.
Well, we did a show this morning in a preschool, and it was cold and rainy, and it was near Adelaide, up in the hills. Stirling. They were lovely. And when we were leaving, the director said, "That was amazing. You kept the attention of 2-year-olds." Were they 2?
2 for 45 minutes.
And right through to kids that are nearly ready to go to school.
Yeah.
And I thought, gee, I liked hearing that.
Yeah, that's great.
But, you know, we've met a lot of performers on this program, and because we're performers ourselves, we've met, working with people, and you don't always find people that can connect with a really wide age group from young people right through, and definitely that's what I saw with what you did. And it's charming because we all become so high-tech and sophisticated with everything that often we miss the simplest things that really engage everybody.
That's right.
Just simple stuff, like your rope trick. It's a fairly standard rope trick that you do.
You've seen that before, yes.
Absolutely, but the delivery was different, and that was what was lovely about it.
Yeah.
You know, as we talked yesterday, we've had Raymond Crowe on the program, who's now sort of an internationally well-known
He's amazing.
magician.
He's good.
Well, he's not a magician, he's an unusualist.
An unusualist.
That's his title.
And you might have noticed I'm called an ultra-normalist.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm more than normal.
Well, you are, because when you're
Does
not...
Chris agree with that? I'm not sure. She's
Troppo.
not sure.
Yes.
Because when you're not magicking around the country, you're surfing.
Yes, and loving it.
So when did you start surfing?
Oh, I think when I was about 16. I didn't live near the beach, and I had to get old enough to go there. So, yeah.
You haven't had any terrible encounters, have you, with the wild side?
Oh, yeah, you see them. The sharks,
Yes.
they're out there. Yeah.
That's where they live.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
see
I
them.
know,
And I
but-
saw one time.
Yeah.
It was after a big flood up where we live, and the water was all dirty, and it's not the right time to go out late in the night. And I saw this huge fin chasing fish. It was occupied.
Oh,
And it went
lucky
that
you.
fast there's no way you wouldn't get away from one of those. It was just whoosh, like that across there, and I go,
Well, we've actually had Rodney Fox on the show, who was badly bitten when he was a younger man.
Yeah.
Who is very much a conservationist now when he's talking about sharks, and it's an amazing thing. But as you said, it's where they live. It's exactly right.
Yeah. Their territory.
yes.
So what do you want to do when you grow up?
Oh dear. Well, I'm 105 now.
Just explain that.
Well, that's my character, and because we started doing the shows in the aged care, I needed to be older than everybody. But it enabled me to point out the benefits of anti-aging cream. It's working.
And being born on the 29th.
Oh, the 29th of February. Else I've only had 26 birthdays.
There you go. So 26.
You really? Is that right?
105 years old. I've had 26 birthdays. In a little while, you're having a birthday. Yeah,
possibly.
Maybe, well, everyone has them.
Yes.
But I don't have them every year. Like 29th of February only comes every 4 years. So soon I'm going to be 106 without having a birthday.
Oh,
amazing.
Yes.
Is he like this at home the whole time?
Yes, that's why I enjoy having visitors.
You've got children, haven't you?
Yes, we have 3 adult children and 5 grandchildren.
oh, how wonderful.
And they're all a year apart.
Are they
really?
really?
Oh, so good. They're so
Are
good.
they, is he the perfect grandpa?
Oh, Poppy, he is.
Poppy.
But they think that magic is normal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, so it's a normal part of their life.
Yes.
And our 6-year-old grandson can make balloon models.
I never
balloon
taught
dogs.
him. He's just been around that long.
Have you got any balloons in your bag?
Yeah, I could make one just while we're chatting.
Yes, while
if you
you're
like.
talking, just go for it. Got your pump?
Yeah, I won't do the squeaky part.
Okay.
That's a lot more complicated.
Yes, I understand.
I'll just make this one here. Now, if you're watching this at home, this could explode. And when I make them for people, I say, well, you okay with this? You okay? Okay.
Are you allergic to balloons?
No, I'm not allergic.
It
I'm
won't
just
pop.
the explosion might be a worry. That's all.
I'm going to call this a popping purple poodle puppy. A popping purple
Say that
poodle
3
puppy.
times fast.
Yes, popping purple puppy. Now, Malcolm, it's got no legs. Where would you find a dog with no legs? I'll tell you. Where you left it. I learned that one in the nursing home. It was so good. Anyway, our 6-year-old grandson, he just came up to me one day and he blew it up and tied it and everything. And I was inspired by the Fringe Festival.
Yes.
Because this is their little
logo.
Yeah. And you know what's even more incredible? Now, it's Janice, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And we haven't
Troppo?
met before?
No, Troppo.
You look happy that you haven't met me. No, a lot of people are. If you were to just take your finger and just pretend it's a magic wand and think you have the power to do this, I want you to make the ball on the dog's tail. Just go like that. Oh, very
and we'll
good.
be back in just a minute. And we're back with Troppo, Bob and Chris.
What great fun.
Oh, wait a minute. Someone's missing.
Oh, no.
You're a magician. Can you work out something for us?
Are you ready?
Yep.
Yep.
Shoo.
Daniel.
I'm back.
Thank
Daniel.
you. Very good. Very good. Thank you. You were cleverer than I thought you were.
Amaze myself then.
So, Bob, you're going round the country as a sort of continuous tour when you're not surfing.
That's right.
Only to be interrupted by magic. You're surfing, maybe.
Oh, and then we do an overseas convention and do some stuff on the way. We were in Croatia a few years ago.
Gosh.
Lovely place. Bullet holes in all the buildings.
Oh.
Yes.
And Chris, you're obviously going to continue marrying people and dispatching them in the nicest possible way.
Yes, I enjoy it. But I enjoy this the most.
The magic.
Both as much.
And the management of magic. And Daniel, you're heading, as we said in the segment, you're heading on to more and more things in the future.
Yeah.
For anybody, any parents whose child is born with CF, what's the best advice you can give them?
Treat them as you would any other child. I think, if there was a barrier in our way, we would just work out a way to get around it. And I think no matter what situation you're in, I think it's just a good motto that my parents had.
Fantastic. Well done, Daniel.
And produced a great young man.
Yeah.
Look, folks, it's been lovely to have your company once again. You can join us on Facebook. We have a Facebook site, and we sort of put up every week who's going to be on the program with some pictures of who's been on the program.
And we'd like suggestions too, if people would like
I don't want people to be too suggestive, Janice. Yes, please do be suggestive, because we'd really love to know who you'd like to see on the program, because we do it for you and not for us. Only on a Monday night. And we're across Australia. You can also find us on Our Time TV channel on YouTube, and we'd love to see you there. Until next time, thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep yourselves nice till we see you next time.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye for now.